Hey guys, welcome back to the Small Music Artist Type Podcast. There's a lot of news I need to go over in the beginning. If you want to skip past that, that's totally fine. If you're new, hi, how did that happen? I am a tiny YouTuber, I guess is the word to call it. Ooh, I don't like that. To me, it has like a bad connotation. But yeah, welcome if you're new. Any of the information I'm about to give is not going to make any sense, so you can just skip on if you're new, I guess. But anyways, for the people who have been here, here's some news for all you guys. There wasn't a video for October, the podcast episode, whatever you want to call it at this point. That's mostly because I was working on new music. If you listen to my music, you should go listen to it. New music soon. Aggressively whispering into the mic. Oh my god, there's spider web. I need to clean. Oh my god, I need to dust this entire area. Oops. That's my fault. Yup. So the reason for no whatever kind of video thingy, I don't know. Certain artists, I was going to work with them. Things just didn't work out. Not their fault, not my fault. Everything going on. And this podcast takes a lot more time than it may seem. With all the research and the time I spend with all the questions, and yeah, it takes a while. The editing does take a while. And then I like to one-up myself every podcast episode, so then it takes longer. But for the audio editing, I have upgraded. Video editing, I have downgraded. I am doing all this on a new computer. I've gotten Logic Pro, so I have been working on that. I have grown accustomed to Logic Pro now, so I should be good. Though I was signed into someone else's Adobe account, but Adobe doesn't need to know. And I was using Premiere Rush on that account. On my old computer. I am not on that computer anymore. Now I have my own computer, all that things. I do not have the Adobe. I still gotta figure out what I'm gonna use to video edit this. I might use CapCut. I use that for Reels and TikToks, which I never post anyways, but that's specific. I'll go through phases of posting one a day and then I'm like, peace out. That's how the creativity just flows. It's bad. I know. The internet doesn't like that. Oh my god, there's so much dust. So this video is going to be, the predecessor to the season finale. You could say this is like the intro to the season finale of this season, because it's a season finale. Haha. That's fun. And that's mostly because I have been planning this season finale for more than a month. Actually, months. So I already have everything set up, and I need to anyways with the timing. And it's a lot less work at the moment because I've gotten more of the work done than if I were to do the normal process for making one of these episodes. So yep, here we are. Yeah, I think that's all the news. So, on to the regular video podcast episode. This podcast episode is on Noah. His pronouns are he, him. He is a indie pop artist. He's been on this podcast before. He's the reason that I even started this podcast to begin with. He is the first episode before I even started doing interviews. And it all started with his one song. It wasn't his first song, but when I first started listening to his music, there was the song Your Best that was put out shortly after, and I just loved it so much that I wanted to talk about it and tell people. And that's kind of how this podcast became. I got permission from him, and I made it a podcast episode on him. And this 2 years later, I think it's 2 years later. Is it? I think so. was like late 2021. 2 years ago. Yeah. So 2 years later, we are doing a updated episode on Noah, the bro, the man, the myth, the legend. He has definitely released a couple songs in the meantime, even with going on like a hiatus and all that, which I'm considering. But anyways, let's see how this works because I moved my computer slightly because I forgot to put my glasses on, so I need to read all my stuff. And Logic Pro was like, yeah, no, now we're not going to be using your mic, we're going to be using your computer's mic. Thanks. Thank you. So we'll get to everybody's favorite part, which is the interview questions, in a second. But let me tell you about some of the music that he's put out since then. After Boys, good job, me. After Your Best, he put out the song Boys Don't Cry a little after. Might have been a while after. It's been 2 years, okay? I get a little jumbled, especially with his hiatus and all that. That song was put out, and then it was great. I really liked that song too. He did some performances, and then he released one more song that didn't have vocals, which is different from all of his other songs. And I don't know what it is, but you can tell he's going through like a transformative kind of time frame, or transformative period in his life. That's the words. Haha, it's been a while since I've done this and I can tell.
Hi, I'm Noah Avantkar and I'm a 19-year-old singer-songwriter from Bengaluru, India. And I'm pretty sure Al has told you guys everything about me, enough information to maybe kidnap me.
Now we can get on to the interview questions. Let's start off with question 1. It's been a long time since you were last on this podcast, literally like 2 years ago. What has happened since then?
Well, a lot has happened in this past 2 years, honestly. It's like a lot of good stuff and a lot of bad stuff happened. The good stuff being that my song Your Best got a lot of attention and I'm super, super happy and grateful for that. It got about 6K views on Spotify alone and perhaps maybe 10K views on other platforms. I'm not quite sure. It also got mentioned on Rolling Stone quite often and it got international and national radio debut as well as national news debut, which I was so proud of and happy. And it did get me a lot of interviews on magazines as well, which was amazing. Like, it's so magical and I'm so grateful, have all of these experiences and opportunities. The bad part being that I was extremely sick during this year, at least the first part of the year. I got really sick, and after a lot of testing, I figured out that I had a teeny tiny tumor in my brain. But luckily, it was non-cancerous, and it's all sorted now. But during that time, while receiving such a news, it did take a toll on my mental health. And I didn't really tell anyone about it because I wasn't sure how people are going to take it. And I didn't want to be... Because most of my friends had their own stuff going on and I didn't just want this to add up on people's stuff. So, yeah. But I'm doing a lot better now, which is a really good thing. And I've started performing again, which is amazing. So, yeah. During that time, I also stopped performing. I stopped making music. It was just a lot.
Number 2, how has your personal life affected your music career?
100% it's affected my music career. No, it's definitely affected my music career and it's definitely affected the way I make my music these days. It's definitely affected that. And I recently started my HRT journey, and to be honest, Puberty the sequel has not been that kind on me. But I'm still waiting for the glow up, you know. I'm still waiting for it. But I'm still stuck with a lot of acne and a lot of mood swings. Yeah, a lot of mood swings. And all the health issues I had and mental health issues I had this year.
Next is, do you have any plans for the new year regarding your music?
Yes, actually, I do have a lot of stuff planned out for next year, and I'm already started working on it. So, fingers crossed that you guys will be hearing my new song pretty soon. Hopefully, it comes out by this year, December. If not, definitely by next year. I originally thought I'll just put on singles, but then I thought I wanted to make into an EP because it's been a while since I put on an EP, like about 3 years, I guess, close to 3.
Number 4, what was your most meaningful fan experience? Because I've seen some things on your story, and I know you've done like performances in the past. So,
My most meaningful fan experience has to be the DMs I get from so many people, and it's really so sweet. Like, it doesn't fail to put a smile on my face despite how bad my day has been. Like, just reading the texts me so much, and I'm really grateful for the people who do listen to it and text me about it. Like, you guys are angels, so I love you guys.
number 5, you've performed numerous times in the past, like I've said. Which venue was your favorite?
Ooh, well, that's a hard question to answer. But throughout all of my favorite venues, it has to be open house. Even though I've just performed there once, it was amazing. Like, everyone over there was so amazing, and I still remember that day. I still remember that show I had. Still remembered everyone. So definitely, that's my favorite.
It seems like Your Best is your most popular song, at least on like most streaming platforms that I know of. What's the story behind it?
Well, it's usually, I used to tell people that it's a song about New Year's. Like, we all have that to do list we haven't done yet, regardless, even though we promised ourselves we'll get it done by the end of this year. Nope, we didn't. And then we blame ourselves because we didn't get it done. And then, it's just to tell people that regardless, even if you got it done or if you didn't get it done, you went through this year like a champ. You fought everything that came your way, and you were amazing, and you did your best, and that's all that really matters. Well, that is what the song is about, partly at least, but the original story behind the song is actually quite darker. And trigger warning, there's a mention about suicide. So yeah, just a trigger warning. I wrote Your Best during lockdown 3 years ago from today. And I was in a phase in my life where I felt really lonely, and everyone was in a phase where they felt really lonely because everybody was stripped out of their family. They couldn't see their family, they couldn't see their friends, they couldn't see their lovers. People were dying, people were suffering, people were sick, people were trying to survive. And during that time, I was suffering with my mental health as well, as I'm pretty sure most of us were. That's when I heard this song called Breathe by Lehigh. It's a K-pop song. And I just really fell in love with the song at first. Like, I loved the melody and everything. But then when I deeper looked into the lyrics, I realized that it's actually very deep. It's really about getting through each day and how it feels to get through each day, how heavy people's burdens can be each day, and how it affects us. And me being me, Noah being Noah, I wanted to dig deeper into it because I'm a curious soul. Science nerds are always a curious soul. So I did what I had to do, and I started researching more about the song, and turns out the song was written by Jonghyun, and it was given as a gift to Lehigh from what I read. I started listening to more of Jonghyun's music, and it was really good. Like Jonghyun is a part from a band called Shine, and I started listening to their music as well. I'm like, why didn't I know these guys existed before? And that's when I found out that he had actually passed away. Turns out he passed away on 18th December 2017 due to suicide. And it really hit me like a train. Like, I'm not even kidding. Whenever I listen to artists I really love, I imagine going to their concert someday and, seeing them. But then I heard about this thing, what I read, and it hit me like a train wreck that a part of me was guilty that I didn't know about this before. And then the other part of me was really, really confused at what I was feeling. Because suddenly the one person you used to look up to is no longer here. I kind of grieved in my own way. And this song was kind of telling how I grieved in a way, I guess. So, with that being said, I just realized that's when it hit when I reread the lyrics from Breathe. It was more like a cry for help. And I started thinking, what if people actually noticed it? And maybe he would have still been here, I guess. And that's when it hit me that there's a lot of people out there feeling the same thing. There's a lot of people out there who feel the same way as I do. And a lot of those people don't have people to tell them a lot of positive stuff, a lot of stuff. And that's when I thought, what if I wrote a song for Jonghyun? What if I had a chance to tell him all of this? What would I tell him? What if I had a chance to talk to him? What would I said? What would I have said? So I started writing about it, and I started thinking about the suicide rates during COVID, which had skyrocketed significantly. And I started thinking about my close friends as well. I started having a lot of anxiety of losing them due to COVID or due to mental health stuff. It was really tricky knowing that someone, can just vanish within a second. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, but sometimes there is something you can do about it. You still have a chance. So I made this song for everyone who is a suicide survivor, or anyone who's gone through it, seen it, been through it, been there, or people who are already gone. And what I might say now may sound fucking stupid. It might sound fake, but it's up to you. You can debunk this however you want, but I'm just telling what I felt while I was recording Your Best. So usually I record a song in parts, and each part take me a few takes. The verses took me 2 takes, the chorus took me 3 or 4 takes, but the outro took me just one single take. And what I experienced while singing and recording the outro was something I have never felt before. It was like, till this point I was grieving for all the people who are dead. I was grieving for everyone, and I just closed my eyes and everything was dark. Obviously it would be dark if I close my eyes. And I could see, like, I could feel and see like thousands of people in front of me. most of them were sitting, most of them were standing. I could like physically feel them and see them. And I could feel what they felt. I could feel their pain almost. And that's when I saw Jonghyun stand right in front of me, like right behind my mic at the time. And I just see him standing there and he's just looking at me like, almost giving me his blessings in kind of a way. And I started to cry because this song was for him and is for everyone who is going through shitty times. And I just started crying. I started bawling, obviously. But I still kept singing regardless, even though I'm crying. And then I was super silent after the recording was done. My studio engineer got worried, so he just came in and he's like, "Are you good, Noah? Like, is everything okay?" And I just turned to look at him with my eyes, like, just bawling. I'm like, "No, I'm not fucking good. I'm fucking crying the out of my eyes." And then obviously after that, I had to go out and breathe some air and get ice cream, even though I'm lactose intolerant. Yeah, I don't care about my lactose intolerant when it comes to ice cream or pizzas. But yeah, that was one of a kind experience. And weirdly enough, I stopped grieving after that. I stopped grieving. It was like I was able to say whatever I wanted to say to this person, to everyone. And I felt at ease. Yeah, so it's quite a personal, very personal story, if you might say.
Number 7, I remember Boys Don't Cry. I remember when it was first released. Specifically, I remember the first time I heard the song, I nearly cried, which is kind of funny considering the name of the song. What is the message you were trying to say with Boys Don't Cry?
Ooh, Boys Don't Cry. Well, it is actually supposed to make you cry. Boys Don't Cry, I just thought about this phrase. Well, most people tell men and boys that, "Oh, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry. Man up, man up." And I was like, we all are humans, We definitely have emotions, and nobody should be pushing that deep inside of them, regardless of who they are. Feeling sad is a part of being a human being. You can't push it down, and sometimes pushing it down can make you feel suffocated. And especially ever since I transitioned, and a few people who didn't know me before knew me as a guy now. And then if I get too emotional, they start saying stuff like, "Why are you being so emotional? You're acting like a girl. That's gay, bro." Bro, it's not gay. Okay, hear me out. It's not gay to cry. I don't understand where this entire concept of crying became feminine. I thought crying was a natural response to sadness. I thought crying was a natural response to when you're cutting onions. Well, the song is about breaking toxic masculinity. It's about you can cry whenever you want. You can express your emotions, and it doesn't make you any less of a man.
Number 8, do you consider this interview to be the ending of your hiatus? Hiatus? Is that how it's said? I don't know. Whatever.
Yes, I do consider this interview to be the end of my hiatus because I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready to start again, and I'm super excited about it. And I may have a song coming out by the end of this year or probably next year. Definitely, probably by next year, if not by this December.
Number 9, in some of your Instagram stories and posts, you have photos of your chicken, Chelsea. When did you get Chelsea, and does she help you write your music?
Ooh, yes, Chelsea, baby. She's my daughter. She's my child. I love her so much. I got her last year April, and she's 1 year 8 months old now, and I can't believe that she's grown so big just from. Well, it kind of just makes me sad that she's grown so big in such a short amount of time, which is long, but it just feels like short. But yes, definitely, she helps me make music a lot. When I'm working on my songs and on my studio, she just hops up on my lap and then she just sits there while I work on it, or sometimes she jumps on my shoulder. She always helps. She loves working on music with me.
Number 10. In the past, you've posted photos in a studio, but recently it doesn't seem like you're in a studio, especially when Chelsea is in the photos. Have you upgraded to an in home studio, and how do you feel about your new studio?
Oh, well, yes. I just recently got a studio set up in my home because during when I was recording most of my songs, it was during lockdown, and in India specifically, the lockdown was like on and off, on and off. And it was kind of, it gave me the anxiety, like, what if I need to record this song, but the studio is closed because everybody's in lockdown again. So that made me have a lot of anxiety, which is mainly the reason why I got my studio set up in my room. And it kind of reminds me of Phineas's setup as well. It's quite similar, I'd say. It looks similar. It looks aesthetic. It looks pretty. Thing I love about having a studio in my room is that I can work on my music anytime I want, and I can record whenever I want, and plus it doesn't cost any money anymore, at least, because studios being expensive, bro. Like I don't know. I don't know how expensive it is in the US, but here also it's pretty expensive here as well. So yeah, it's great. I can wake up in the middle of the night with an idea and I can record it by the morning. So it's fun. It's nice. It works with me because I'm a very spontaneous person with spontaneous ideas just dropping by. So it helps me keep track of all the ideas I have for my future songs.
Your last collab was with Nuria in the song Nobody Knows Me. How did that song come about, and what was your experience working with Nuria? Because my experience working with her has been amazing, and that's why she's been on the podcast twice.
Oh my God, Nuria, she's fucking amazing. Like I'm a huge fan of her. I'm being straight up honest. I just love her music. It's just so good. And the fact that when we worked on a song together, she did everything, and I was the one who was feeling guilty because I was like, wait, I'm not doing enough. Like, I need to put in more work. But yeah, she's an amazing artist to work with, and collabs have been so smooth. It's amazing. Well, it all started when I just got a random DM from Nuria, and then she's like, oh, I heard the song, your vocals for my song, will you be able to sing the chorus for it? And at first I thought it was a spam. But then when I heard her music, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, holy her music is so good. And I was like, I felt honored to work with her, honestly. And we do have a bit of a surprise coming out, probably next year. We are working on something currently, so I hope we are done in a couple of more months.
And lastly, I feel like this needs to be asked, how are you doing? Being a transgender person in this world is not the easiest, and from what I hear, you get the short end of the stick sometimes.
Well, being trans isn't the easiest thing in the world, especially now that people have started to become more violent towards us, I'd say, in terms of physical and emotional stuff. But so far, I'm really grateful that I've not gone through any of these issues so far in my music career. Like, everyone I've met is super cool. They're super nice. But I did run into some people who do discriminate a lot, and those often are government workers. Because right now that I'm legally transitioning and I have to go run about a lot of places just to get my name and gender changed on all my certificates, and during that time I have to face a lot of people, which most of who are not kind. Let's say that. But yeah, it is. It is really hard. And yes, definitely, I do always end up getting the shorter stick. It's just my luck. It's always like that. I'm not sure why, but it's always like that. I just have bad luck, bro. It's just I think it's in my genes. I'm just born with bad luck at this point. The world isn't filled with rainbows and sunshine. Like how we were taught when we were kids, it's filled with a lot of bad stuff as well. A lot of bad people, which good people make up as well. So definitely it was really hard for me to figure out myself when I was not surrounded by supportive people. But now that I've grown and now that I have a inner circle of friends who are super supportive, I feel really blessed to have them in my life. And I feel really blessed to have you as well in my life, Al. I hope you know that.
Thank you so much for being back on this podcast. Let's call it back on this podcast. And I hope that everything goes well for you in the next year. So, the season finale will probably be posted sometime in December. I always post on Sundays because personally, I never get YouTubers posting on a Sunday. And we always need content every day. You always need something from like an artist or a YouTuber on your days, so you at least have something. When you've spent the entire day working, you sit down, you're like, I got a podcast to listen to. That's at least my hope. Thank you so much for listening this far. And if you're new to this podcast, please be sure to check out the podcast tab on my YouTube channel. And it is divided up into each season, so you can watch either season 1 or season 2. I recommend season 2 because it's a lot better. And yeah, if you have any artists you want to recommend or yourself for next year, feel free to comment their name or their YouTube channel down below. I always take in considerations. And I hope you like this episode, maybe? I hope. Yeah. All right. Bye.